Good morning, YouTube, and today you get to see a ranged DPS guide. I originally wanted to make a different video today, but I saw a few forum discussions revolving around the 14.4.2, and I wanted to share my particular version in my split today with you. I find range to be in an interesting spot, especially the past several months. I've been under the assumption the past few months that I thought that they would have nerfed ranged, but they have not done anything to crossbows or shurikens, which are the two leading ranged DPS builds, and it gives them enough of a lead that I feel comfortable making a video about it. As it stands, I really enjoy being able to play this build in quests because it just absolutely dominates, and I've had a few other ranged come into my party, and realistically the only few people that have been able to outpace me are arcane tricksters as of recently. It feels very satisfying to play this build, although much like my favorite soul, it requires a lot of gearing. But when we get to the gearing section, I'll talk about how you can replace some of the things that I have so that you can get an optimal version without actually needing so much for the build. Now, this tune isn't perfect by any means. It's a first life or a low life character that is meant to help people get by. It does not require any past life. Regardless if you have past lives or not, it will get the job done. It's done a really good job for me, and it will do a good job for you. I'm very happy with how this tune turned out, and I've had quite a few people tell me that they would actually roll up a range tune after running with this character on more than a few occasions, and I'm very happy that they've saw my ranged and wanted to build around it. So that's another reason why I'm sharing this build, because I think it's just that good of a build. And it's a phenomenal build because it doesn't require any past lives. I think everyone should have a range tune. More importantly, I think this split is very good because without having past lives, you get access to Zeal and Righteous Command, which are range power and double shot respectively. And if you don't like running crossbows in particular, then I suggest probably rolling up my old ranger build. I'll have an updated guide within a few weeks, or Stremtom's Thrower if you don't feel comfortable with crossbows. But I do think having a range tune is very handy because you have the ability to poke things at a long range while taking minimal damage unless you pull caster aggro. This build has helped me clear out dungeons on R10 and run some raids with some pretty high damage per second. The biggest critical that I've seen is 450,000 in threats, and that was with a very good group and some solid debuffs. This build has taken me from 500,000 to almost 3.5 million in one life. I've had to do some repeats, but I've definitely enjoyed every second of it because it just absolutely shreds in R10. And if you don't feel comfortable doing R10, you don't have to. You can make it a gear farming tune, you could make it a raiding tune, you could even make it just an R6, R8 character. You don't have to always push the limits like I do with my characters. Now, one thing I can say is that I can't promise that this build won't get nerfed in the future because some of these builds are just very strong, and I'm really hoping that either they tone them down or bring some of the other styles in line with them with how much damage they do, but that comes with a lot of offsets, but that's not a discussion for this video. It's very simple and easy to have a range tune lying around, and this one is no different. It's very easy to build this, and despite having all the set augments, you will do just fine. With this tune having minimal past lives, you will probably get squished pretty easily. I've taken one hit and died in Lamordi on R10. That is something that you have to be aware of. On your screen, you're going to see some gameplay just so you kind of get an idea or a feel of how this build contributes into R10s, let alone raids, and the main reasoning for playing the split, which is a lot of the spells and what you can do for not having many past lives. I couldn't get any raid footage, unfortunately, as much as I wanted to. My computer is a potato. But if you can see what it does in quests, then you can get a pretty good picture of what it does in raids. To start off this particular guide, this build plays heavily into the 14-4-2 split. 14 Paladin, 4 Artificer, 2 Dark Hunter. You have two other options of 2 Monk for feats, or 2 Dragon Lord for a feat, and 2 action boosts, I believe, or 3 in this case, depending on how many AP you want to put into it. But I went Dark Hunter because I get a free sneak dice, I get 2 weapon fighting, which is just hit points, and then auto-granted rapid shot, so I don't have to take it as a feat. Your main starting stats for this build are going to be 18 Charisma, 16 Constitution, 14 Dexterity, and 14 Intelligence. Now, you may need more Dexterity if you don't have any tomes, but you could choose any race. In particular, I chose Eladrin because I have a 3 racial point tome from Myth Janor. So I decided to take 2% accuracy and 1 charisma in the cores just for that. You can always take the dash, but I didn't do so. Or you can go play a completely different race. That's up to you. I just like having high accuracy because 210 feels like a great number, and for a first lifer, you kind of need it. Your ending skill points at level 20 should hover around 20 disable device, 20 spot, 20 search, 10 open lock, 10 jump, 10 tumble, into the rest in the UMD. Now, if you don't have an intelligence tome, you can always drop, jump, or spot, but I would recommend trying to get as close as you can to the 4 main trapping stats and a little bit of UMD and at least a minimum of 10 tumble for that extra charge. For the feats, I'm a little controversial. You can take these however you want, but these are the heroic feats that I took in order. I took point blank shot, dodge, mobility, precise shot. I took this at 6 with RD, shot on the run, improved critical ranged, precision, and improved precise shot. For the epic feats, I took patience, holy strike for the 10% dodge and fort bypass, which is 5% but doubled, overwhelming critical, double shot, combat archery, embodiment of law, watchful eye for 5% double shot, the Sharati tree, Scion Arborea because it's basically best in slot for melee and ranged, enhanced elemental dice, Eerie aim, and legendary aim. You can always change the feats out and how you like, but being a first life character, you want the attack bonus, and I know level 36 was right around the corner, and that's a general epic feat. For that, I would probably either take defensive tumble or trick shot, and being a first lifer, you can take either, but I think for me, I will probably end up taking trick shot. Okay, let's get into the enhancements, because when I was reading that thread, there was a lot of people that were throwing their hands around what they think would be best in slot, and so first off, you can see Eladrin's 3 points. Inquisitive's 41. I mean, I went with attack. I went with observation, improved observation. You need the 4 bypass. Martial Inquisition for the double shot. Imbue dice. I went ask questions first because that ability is very good. 10 dodge and dodge cap is really strong. And then I went with shoot later because it's a very strong AoE. And then I ignored arresting assault because it's a really bad ability. Some people might take it, but for me, I don't want to take it. I have diplomatic immunity turned on so that all my effects take place, you know. Got to get that 5% fort bypass. I took Jaded because it affects all monsters regardless. And it gives me an imbue dice and then the attack speed and stuff. And then unproved uncanny dodge. And then for the battle engineer tree, I originally took thaumaturgical conduits, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to swap it over for field engineer because disabled device, I've actually failed on 2 traps in MD, but I also didn't have proper swaps, so it would just be nice to not accidentally blow up a trap. I took 2 action boosts because you really don't have the AP, it's heavily tight. I took caustic shot and do shatter defenses because 50 damage for an AoE is very strong. I've been able to clear out packs just by using shoot later and shatter defenses crossbow. Both of these are very good. I went the entire crossbow training line alongside endless fusillade because it's 10 range power. That's a lot of people overlook the 10 range power, but the 10 range power is very huge. And then of course I went agility engine because 10% double shot and 3 imbue dice is a no-brainer. I'm surprised this isn't a tier 5 ability. And then Fade Arc, you need Fade Arc for charisma and hidden damage. And then Knight of the Chalice, I went 8 points. You can always go 9 points and sacrifice something, but I don't recommend it. It's easier to just kind of reload Divine's Might every once in a while. And then I went the second core for the imbue dice and the +1 hit. Those are the enhancements. I think I end up with 25 imbue dice when I use elemental weapons, as you can see. 24, but I have elemental weapons from Artificer right here. And I use that, I get 25 imbue dice, which is a pretty good number. Sneak dice is pretty good. Fort bypass is 132, but when you're fully stacked, I think it's 152, which is really good. Decent dodge bypass. Pretty much everything you need for a ranged character. I think it's pretty good. Epic Destinies, we'll talk about it. Sharati is very simple. Stay loud, phase double, double shot, pierce deception, double shot, track, fort bypass, Queen's Diplomacy, less threat, flickering finger is the imbue dice. Healing spring's kind of a niche ability, but I use it because sometimes I solo and the healing is nice. Face height, good luck, cruelty of the hunt, nerve venom, mostly all the tier 5s. Everything in here is kind of like a necessity for ranged. This right here is kind of the one ability that I wouldn't be surprised if somebody swapped out, but I do enjoy having healing spring on me. Shadow Shadow Dancer, just the normal 30% less threat. Your Lithe for the armor class. Sneak Dice, 5% double shot, 15% floor bypass, which at this point probably isn't necessary, but Technician, I don't really take Nimble Fingers, which is another thing that you could take at 36 instead of Trick Shot, and then Bring Darkness. And then Fate Singer, because you want Pluck of the String, you're going to use that often, and it mixes with Stay Loud. You'll be able to get the benefits from both Fate Singer and Shirati as they play into each other quite a bit. And you need Master of the Acoustics. If you don't have 73 points, you need to probably take it away from Shadow Dancer. You need Master of the Acoustics. It's very important. But those are pretty much the Epic Destiny. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about. This one's kind of a niche enhancement because Bards kind of screw you over sometimes because the LODs overlap each other, so sometimes you benefit from yours, sometimes you only benefit from theirs, and you screw up the entire party by doing that. So it's kind of like do you really want to take it? I do, because it's one attack and damage, but that's always up to the person on what they want to do. So yeah, those are the Epic Destinies. Let's talk about the gear real quick. I took Goggles of the Archer, Double Shot, Greater Marksmanship, and Scythe Armor Piercing. Lemordian Cowl, you want the Charisma, slotted with, you can see on screen, Con Seeker, Litany, Dusk Raider, and Solar Gem of Charisma. Dracolich's Eye, Lunar Gem of Range Power. I have Master's Gift, you can slot anything there. Quick Blade, Heart Shard, Solar Gem of Damage. You can see the effects, Charisma Damage, 4 Bypass, Global True Imperial Blood, Perfect Silence. Lemordian Nimble Cloak, we've got Wisdom, Constitution, Quality Double Shot 3, and Stifle MR 18. Sneak attack damage. Baron's Bandolier, we've got Enhanced Blood Rage, which is really good. This one's kind of like a 50-50. When you raid, you want to pick up a Garta's Belt. I don't have a Garta's Belt on hand. It's 2 damage from Ram's Might, and it's better than Enhanced Blood Rage because you're barely going to end up proccing that. So I have Baron's Bandolier with the Art of Sabotage, Quick Blade, Lunar Gem of PRR, and then whatever you want to slot into Melancholis and Dolores. I just have Hamp there. Quality Charisma. I mean, you need the Quality Charisma. Topaz's Swiftness for the movement, and then Diamond to spot 20. The reason why you have to run Topaz's Swiftness, why you can't just throw it on your Quiver of Alacrity, is because you want the Purifying Quiver for the blunted ammunition specifically. Tinkerer's Gloves, I use this one because it has Insightful Seeker and Quality Seeker on it. That's pretty much it. I happen to get lucky with Major Charisma, but it's not really a necessity. Festive Charisma 2 and Perfect Silence. Greaves of Season Warding, Major Betrayal on it. Once again, got lucky. I've been farming those boots for like a long time, and I finally got a good curse on them. Lunar Gem of Charisma, Set Augment, Dusk Raider, Sapphire Resistance 11. The Autumn Equinox, the one that people can pick out of the treasure box now. This is a good one. I happen to get lucky. I told my friend that I got lucky with Major Archery literally the first time I got this. I have Emerald of Arcane Empowerment, Legendary Moment to Moment, and Set Augment, Truthful Blow. Bracers, once again, got lucky. I've been farming that the same way with the boots, so I decided to slot them, even though Con's not really a make or break. There's Essence of Dark Diversion, Set Augment Quick Blade, Lunar Gem of Weapon Damage. Then we have Legendary Armor of Sunlight. This has accuracy on it, deadly, and Stifle Reflex and Quality Accuracy. The only source of accuracy I'm missing is Legendary Accuracy, which is fine because you have Eerie Aim and Legendary Aim to back your accuracy up. You'll be able to push pretty high. Right down here you have Heavy Crossbow of the Undying Age, Arborea, Curse of Butterflies, you know, just the normal effects with dust on it. The Filigrees, as you can see, is just your common range layout. It's 2 spines, Crack Shot, Shatter Device, and Long Shadow. For your artifact, you're going to be running Raid Spines, Crack Shot, Long Shadow, and Shatter Device Range Power. And then for the Rune Arm, you're just gonna kind of slot in Melt Scale, Spark Fang, Gold Scale, and Gold Fang with Festive Con and Dusk Raider on them. So to talk about these set augments, because I know a lot of people don't have Quick Blade, you can replace Critical Confirmation, Solar Gem. You can slot the Solar Gem of Double Shot. If you don't have Dusk Raider, you can always replace the Cloak too. So you don't have sneak damage, you don't have crit damage. You could drop the damage. The damage aug is rare, so if you don't have that, you can always slot 3 sneak dice and you'll be fine. If you have the Solar Gem of damage, you want to try and get one of those 3 set augments and slot it in so that you don't have to lose the Solar Gem of damage. That's mainly the build. There's really not a lot to talk about. I wanted to make sure that I tried to get this out as quick as I could and talk about it. As you can see, some of my accuracy is low because I don't have my pet out here. I was going to screw up with what it looked like. So with the pet out on my screen, you can see the bonus is higher. If I were to throw everything on right now, with everything going on your screen, these are what my stats look like. 167, 100 MRR. Your bonus is 190. You got 134 here for damage. Pretty good. It does really well. I enjoy this build. You will too. It's been a very strong experience experience. I've had a lot of fun. Then you get to play crossbows. Can't guarantee they won't nerf it, but enjoy it while it lasts. I had fun making this guide, and I had fun making the document that is coming very soon. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic weekend. Peace.